Hey, welcome back to What the Tech. Now, today I'm incredibly excited to have my friend Broadus Palmer, who's the founder of Level Up in Tech, with me. And Broadus has been instrumental in helping individuals make a successful transition into tech, and particularly in the world of cloud computing. Now, his story as he transitioned from banking to cloud computing is truly inspiring, and his program has helped so many individuals land high-paying and prestigious roles at tech companies that we all would recognize. So I'm excited to dig in. Let's go. All right. Today I'm incredibly excited to have my good friend Broadus Palmer on here. He's the founder of Level Up in Tech. And he's going to be sharing not only his story with us, but also some of the instrumental things that he's doing to help individuals make a successful transition into the tech industry, particularly in the world of cloud computing. Now, his story is really pretty interesting when you talk about where he was and now where he's supporting people. And I'm truly inspired by his vision, his program, and specifically how many people he's helped land roles in prestigious companies. And so, Broadus, I just want to say thank you for coming on the show today to share your story with me.
Thank you, Troy. It's an honor to be here, man. I'm so excited.
Yeah, brother. Well, hey, one of the things I like to do is just have fun with people the first time they come on here and kind of ask a quick icebreaker question so people can kind of get to know you. And, as we're going to dive into all things cloud and tech, I really want to kind of ask you a question that I think would be funny and maybe surprising. So any facts about yourself that somebody wouldn't necessarily know unless you kind of divulged it that might be interesting?
Yeah, so I am a six-figure sneaker collector. Right?
Say what?
So I have over $100,000 in sneakers. That's Nikes, Adidas, Jordan brand. Yeah, man. Some highly sought after sneakers that's in the market. That's rare to find. What people call grails. We're looking for the holy grail.
You got the holy grails, okay?
Yeah. I got some grails. Not all, but I got some grails that are worth, upwards of $20,000 for a pair of sneakers.
That's incredible, man. When did that start? Besides, you probably have always had an affinity for sneakers, right? But when did that start?
Man, probably when I was about, 13, 14, when, I got my first job as a dishwasher and I can actually afford a pair of Nikes or Jordans, because when I was coming up as a little kid, my parents couldn't afford it. So I was wearing nothing wrong with it, but I was wearing like Sebagos and stuff like that as a little kid. And I wanted to wear the cool sneakers like everyone else. So, when I became a teenager and I started getting my first job and got my first check, it was straight to the mall we went. And it didn't stop from there.
Yeah, my man. Well, so I was all about the swoosh forever, but I had plenty of Jordans. Do you have a favorite that you just love? Like, hey, whether it checks the box for, like you were saying, it's like one of those ones that you're like, everybody wants, or is it just a pair that you're like, these are classic, these maybe have memories connected to them?
So my most favorite pair is a Nike Dunk that I own. It's called What the Dunk. It's a low. It's a Nike Dunk Low, because they got two What the Dunks. They got a high pair and a low pair, and the low pair is the one that's highly sought after, and it's a mix of all the Grail Dunks into two shoes, and that is a shoe that everywhere I go, if I'm going somewhere that people actually know what they are, they're literally offering me money to get them off my feet then and there.
I bet.
Yeah. So
I bet. So who's got that kind of cash besides you to drop on those shoes? So I'm asking because you probably have some high-profile people reaching out and saying, I need those kicks, right?
Believe it or not, man, it's just it's crazy because it's not the high-profile people. Well, it depends, right? You have high-profile people in the sneaker industry as well, right? Yeah. So, but those donks are worth about 16, 17,000. But if you're talking about that's low end of the bar, when I go to conventions, and I go to, people who really have what we call the heat. I'm talking dunks are going for $92K, man. Wow. 92,000, 70,000. They got the Freddy Krueger dunks that are really sought after. They're about 40,000 right now, man. People are going crazy trying to find those sneakers, and those who have them, they're selling them for big bucks, and they come in straight cash with it.
That's crazy, man. So I can tell you the pastor at my church. He's the campus pastor. I go to a campus church, and he is a big shoe guy, and I know that he buys and sells shoes like that. I don't know if he's rolling deep like my man, but he's like all over it. So he's always got like a sweet pair of shoes that he's wearing up there on stage when he's kind of doing intros and so forth. So I just think my shoe game is not there. Like I wear nice clothes and shoes, but my nicest pair of shoes is probably, a $500 pair of McNanny's or Cole Haans or something like that. Like I'm not kicking it like you, man.
I mean, it's one of those things, to be honest with you, sneakers, believe it or not, can give you the quickest turnaround for your investment, way quicker than stocks.
Really?
So like, let's say, okay, what Amazon stock is about 900 or maybe 3,000 right now. I don't know what it is, but let's say you buy 10 shares of Amazon stock. I mean, look how long it's going to take for you to really get a return on investment, right? With sneakers, I can literally buy a pair of sneakers that come out today, and they're $160. But depending on the market and depending on how highly sought after they are, they can go 5 minutes after they drop. They can go for $10,000.
So is there some sort of lottery that gives you these sneakers at $160 because Nike is releasing them? Okay.
Yeah. So you go into the lottery, stores or Nike or whatever, and you win. Some people have created bots, and I'll talk about that in a few because that actually helped me transcend into understanding tech. But it's crazy because even like Foot Locker has got in on the game, right? So what I mean by that, not to say too much, is so it's a couple of resale companies that are trusted. One is called StockX. It's like a sneaker stock market that tells you the worth and value of sneakers today. And one is called GOAT, right? And what they do is they have resellers all across the world that can sell their sneakers on the market. If you buy a sneaker, you have to send it to StockX so they could be, or GOAT, so they could be verified by their experienced sneaker verified workers or employees. Wow. And then they send a sneaker to you. The crazy thing is that a lot of people don't know is Foot Locker invested $100 million into GOAT. So Foot Locker removed the Jordans that are, Foot Locker used to get Jordans galore. They started removing Jordans from the stores. And what they do now on GOAT is you can buy it from a person who can send it into GOAT to be authenticated and sent to you, or you can get it directly from their GOAT storage, which costs you a lot more, but it's already authenticated and it ships directly from their storage, right? It was like, well, okay, Foot Locker, we know you putting those sneakers in there, and reselling them, because if you could get $160 in the store or $500 on the resale market, which one you really going to do?
Well, I just got educated here, folks. Like, I didn't know this was happening with tennis shoes, and that my ROI. I think with inflation, it's probably even better for you, right? Because you're like, hey, man, like I've been holding on to these. Inflation, like it's probably inflated the prices as well. Man, that's incredible. I didn't know it was like serious like that. Like, I saw a show one time where they were talking about this whole underground shoe thing, and now it's like mainstream. It's like there's a lot of people doing it, right?
So, I mean, if anything ever happens, right, I lose it all. I can take all the sneakers in my closet and I'll come out with 6 figures in my account.
That's incredible. Yeah. That's incredible. That's your little nest egg, man.
Yeah.
That's cool. Well, tell me, I mean, you mentioned bots earlier, but tell me what motivated you to switch from banking into tech, because those are starkly different. I mean, I would argue that banking is a little bit behind in tech. When you really
yeah. So, the crazy thing is, like, I'm from a rural area in Virginia where, back in the day, all we had that was close to tech was keyboarding class, right? And it was all about how fast you can type.
Yeah.
Wasn't about any technology. So, I mean, I knew there was a tech industry, right? But I didn't know anyone that was in it. I didn't see anyone that looked like me. So I was just like, okay. But one day, man, I was at the bank
And when you say look like me, you mean handsome? That's
no,
what you meant,
actually,
right? Yeah.
I didn't see any African American gentlemen in there that, you know, like me.
Yeah.
As far as, you know, we always thought like, you know, no offense to anyone, we always thought like tech was like nerdy, right?
Yeah.
And,
Yeah.
And that was far from
Almost
the
you
truth.
put down like
Yeah.
like you're a nerd. But now
Right,
some of
yeah,
these
yeah.
nerds are heroes when you really think about it. I mean, they're the
Absolutely.
the big boys now. So yeah,
They running the show. So
They running
you
things,
know,
yep.
we just had that stereotype that went with it. And but one day I was in the bank and two gentlemen came in and, you know, they wanted to withdraw some cash, and, you know, we look at their accounts. That's what we do, to find opportunities. And I was looking at both of their accounts, and their checks was like, you know, $4K for the paycheck, and this was like every 2 weeks they were getting like $4,300, and I was like, hey man, you know, what do y'all do? And they was like, well, you know, we in tech. You know, one was a database administrator, one was like a system admin or a system engineer. And I was like, you know, where you work? He told me, well, they told me, and they said they work from home. So what made it click for me was, if you're from where I'm from, did you know half of the county has FiOS, but the other half of the county has DSL back in that time. Slow speeds, right? It was like, and they lived in this half of the county that had DSL. And I was like, you mean to tell me these guys sit at home with this slow internet and able to do their work and make this amount of money? So the you know, ideas starting to pop up like, hey, just maybe you need to see what this tech thing is about.
yeah.
And that's when I started diving in to try to figure out what I was going to do, because I was tired of really being at the bank and the opportunities that were lacking, and, you know, dealing with, you can imagine, 100, 200 people a day, different attitudes, different, you know, scenarios, thinking on your feet quick all day long, no rest. And once I seen that, I was like, okay, let me look at some opportunities and see what I can do. And that's when I just realized it's a whole big world, and I don't know which way to go, man. You know?
So I'm curious for you, not having a level up in your life that you could tap into. Like, what was the next step for you?
So the next step, really, I was talking to 1,000 different people, right? And they took me 1,000 different directions.
Right.
Get your network plus. No, man, start with your A plus. No, man, go to security. No, you need to do this. So I started researching, and I came across this technology called cloud computing, right? And I looked at the thing. At the time, I called it Oz. It was AWS. And I was like, Oz. I've seen Oz before. What is Oz? And I then realized that when I was a sneaker reseller, because I used to resell sneakers as well, we used to work what we called bot developers. So these were developers who created these bots, but we would install them on Windows servers in the cloud and on AWS. I didn't know what it was. I just knew how to do it, because that's what the people who were renting me the servers told to do, and this is what the developers told me to do with the bots. So I was like, this is the same thing that I use to grab sneakers. It's the same exact thing. So obviously there was the connection there. So then I started researching as far as, you know, average salary and what I had to do to really become a solutions architect or become a cloud engineer. And one thing that really motivated me, because I didn't go to college, is I didn't need a college degree. So it's like, you need these certifications, so I was like, oh man, so you're telling me I don't need to go to college? I just need to do this and start talking to more people in cloud. They're like, yeah, just get your certification, man. You'll get a job. And that's what triggered me really figuring out, hey, cloud computing is the move, because I started looking at, well, if they're used on all these apps that we use today, Facebook, it was Instagram, Snapchat, Vine at the time, right? It's no way that we cannot use these things in the future. So this is the future. That's what I'm thinking to myself. So it's going to be high in demand. And if I learn these skills, I'm going to be paid well. And that's where the journey began, man.
That's right. One of the things I love about tech is it really is about the skills. How long did it take you to become the Wizard of Oz?
To get in to about 9 months.
9 months. Okay.
Yeah, 9 months from focusing on, well, people told me in the beginning, right, to get certified in AWS and I'll get a job. And I went and got three AWS associate certifications. So the solutions architect, developer, and SysOps associate, right? So one thing that I really did know and I wanted to hone in was I was like, well, I used to be a musician too. So there's a lot of things that people don't know about me, right? Okay. So I used to be a musician, well, rapper, right, and singer.
Oh man,
so
you gotta grace us with some rhymes before you leave, bro. You can't just like that.
Stop.
Yes.
No, I can't. That was a long time ago. So, I used to, do my thing independently, and I was thinking of it in marketing. I was like, well, this is similar to me becoming an artist, right? If I'm an artist and I'm trying to get my music out and I'm trying to get a major label to hear me and sign me, what are some things that I need to be doing? So I was like, I need to build my brand. I need to go out there and just create content, right? Be visible. And that's when I started doing like motivational videos on LinkedIn. And I realized even though I knew nothing, because I thought there's someone that knows absolutely nothing. So they can probably, look at my content and get motivated and get, a skill set here and there to move them forward.
That's right.
And as I got my certifications, I got in, people looking at me and wanted to interview me. And when I got into interviews, I realized I didn't know jack crap about solving problems at all. Talking about third-party tools and services, Python and Terraform infrastructure as code. I'm like, whoa, wait. The certifications never told me that. So
they don't give you the right stuff a lot of times. They give you some vernacular, but it doesn't always connect the dots for you for how it all works, right?
Absolutely not, right? And not saying certifications are bad, right? But what I'm saying is certifications, like say for instance, a solutions architect certification in AWS only shows you the broad range of tools and services that are within AWS that architects use to design solutions. The developer associate really just gives you the tools and services that developers use in AWS. You get to learn those. You don't get to learn to become a developer. You just understand the services that are used to develop applications and deploy them, right?
Right.
Once I got that, I had to go back to the drawing board and say, okay, well, how can we be smart here? Well, one thing you can do to stand out is you can actually take some of those things that they told you in the interview and you can start designing solutions and building them on your own. Whatever it takes. If you get it wrong, you can reach out to someone and ask for help. Hey, I'm trying to do this, and because you all talked about that, but I'm getting this error. Do you have any feedback or what I could do? And I start doing that, and I start building projects and getting hands-on. And I ended up landing my first role that literally damn near tripled my salary at the bank, and it was a wrap from there.
That's awesome. So did you show up to the bank with a paper check and was like, blam?
It's funny because we got a new manager, and I told her, I said, listen, I've been learning this thing called cloud computing for the last 6-7 months. Well, 8 months at that time. I said, I've been interviewing. I think I'm gonna get a job in the next few weeks. I'm just letting you know that I'm going to leave just so, you can start looking for someone. That's how confident I was.
Yeah.
And she said, cloud computing, she said, no, my brother does something like that. It took him years to get into. I probably got you for another 6 months to a year. I'm not worried about that. And the next week I got my offer, and I took that offer, blam, and I didn't take the check. I took the offer, blams. I told y'all I'm about to put my 2 weeks notice in right now, okay? So The rest was history with that.
Oh, that's great. So how long were you actually doing the work before you came up with Level Up in Tech? Because that's what you're passionate about today. It's teaching
Yeah.
other people so that they can do the same thing you did, and not only that, fast forwarding that learning curve, because that's a hard part. Like you said, hey, you get the certifications, great, but are you prepared for the work, right? So maybe talk a little bit about that.
Yeah, so I got into tech about early 2018, maybe late 2017, but like 2018, I believe. And I just had so many people come to me and like, hey, I need your help getting in the cloud. I've been watching you on LinkedIn. And the crazy thing was these were people who were like a storage admin at IBM for 20 years. These were people who were a networking engineer for 15 years. And I'm like, hold up, like, what can I do for you? Because I just got here. Right? So, and I'm like, shouldn't you be helping me? But a light bulb went off, and I was like, man, these people that have been in tech have been in roles for years, and this new thing called cloud computing is driving innovation. And they're stuck because they didn't get to learn anything new. So if you've been at IBM for 18 years, you've been on year 2 for the last 16, just doing your job over and over and over. And more people started coming, and it took me 2 years to really say, you know what? And before that, I started helping people individually, just doing like one-on-one coaching, trying to figure out like, hey, here's a path for you to become a network engineer. Here's a path for you to be a cloud security engineer. And I started realizing like, hey, man, to be super transparent, I'm taking a lot of time away from my family. And people are getting jobs and not saying thank you or nothing, right? So in 2020, I said, you know what if I could create a program that can help people land a role in cloud faster than it even took me, right? What if I can help them realistically in a time frame to learn everything they need to learn, gain the experience, and understand how to solve problems? How long would that actually take? And I just started looking at it. I'm like, well, it probably take like 6 months to realistically, that's even fast paced, because people were like, I want to do it in 3 months. I'm like, absolutely not. You can't. I mean, not saying it's impossible, but you'll put yourself in a very stressful situation. I want to do it in the next 30 days and working on these certifications. And that's all I heard was the same thing I heard. Certification, certification, certification. It's like, no, I really need to get some real information out here, because not saying that people are purposely putting out bad information. They're giving great information from their heart, but it's not the right way, right? I wanted to create myth-busting program that really show people how to get rolling cloud.
Yeah, so taking the cerebral, the conceptual parts of the job and saying, well, how is it being done today, so that I can plug you in to something that you're going to be an effective member of that team from day one, right?
Yep.
So I think that's important. So talk to me a little bit about the structure of the program and how you help individuals transition into the tech field. And then like broadly, like what kind of fields are these people coming from? Are they coming like right out of McDonald's and you're teaching them how to do it, or are they more, typically more professional fields that now they just want to get into tech because there's more opportunity?
Everywhere. It's crazy. Because I will say this, the tech can be learned, right? If a person have a dedicated mindset and say to themselves, hey, I know this is going to be overwhelming sometimes, but I know I could take it day by day and just learn, and progress is better than being perfect, they can be successful, right? So we have people that come from being stay-at-home moms, being teachers, being law enforcement, to somebody who's already been in tech, as tech support, people who join our program that's been in cloud engineering roles for 4 years already, right? Wow. That to say, hey, man, last 4 years I've been coasting, that they don't push me to learn anything. I'm unmotivated. I just need someone to motivate me in something that keeps me accountable for doing what I'm supposed to do. So we created a 6-step process that really focus on understanding the fundamentals and foundations of cloud and cloud-like services and third-party tools that you use with the cloud, like, using Linux and PowerShell in some cases. and building off those fundamentals and getting uncomfortable, right? So we go from fundamentals to getting uncomfortable, meaning now we learn what we need to learn. Let's put you in an uncomfortable situation because we showed you from that part how to think about solving problems. So now I'm going to put you in somewhere where you're going to have to solve it. And we want to see, it's nothing wrong with being wrong, but we want to continue to show you the right way, right? So all through this particular program that we built, we just keep building on problem solving capabilities and building on confidence and mindset, right? So now you have these problem solving capabilities. But now we're not going to look at ourselves as employees looking for jobs. We're looking at ourselves as businesses looking to sell our services to possibly the highest bidder. So as a business, if you develop your service, which are your skills, and you are the product as well, how do you focus on branding yourself so companies can know that you're solving the type of problems that they need to be solved, right? And we take that individual and push them into sharing the things that they're doing in our program, showcasing the way they solve problems. And companies are taking heed to that and really staking out our people before they even graduate and say, hey, Troy over there, can you talk to Troy? You're like, yeah, absolutely. You can talk to Troy. Let's set it up. And even if they don't get those opportunities before graduation, after graduation, we're setting them up on a career and development platform where we, continuing revamping their LinkedIn, revamping resume. We have, recruiters come in and they got mock interviewing sessions, and we got a platform that we keep them accountable for teaching them how to fish. So if we're teaching them how to fish, we need to see certain aspects of your fishing technique being done every week. So we say, these are the things you got to do daily. These things need to be done for you to be successful, and we hold them accountable for that.
That's incredible. It leads me to two questions. So what do you think are some of the qualities or attributes that make your team of students kind of successful? Is it something that's innate, or are they things that you're able to equip them with?
So it's both, right? So you have to come with the mindset of whatever goes on, I'm not going to quit. Life gets in the way, right? Life can throw things at you that just make you quit, period, right? And we teach that, we got to keep our eyes on a goal, right? If it's something, family, things like that happen, death, pregnancy, all of these things, take care of those things, right? We're here to support during that time. But it's important that when this period, let's say a grieving period is over, you come back and you hit this right as hard as you can, keep moving forward. Now, in the program, we really work with like soft skills and work with getting comfortable with posting on LinkedIn, connecting with recruiters, talking to managers of companies, because a lot of people in tech can do the work. It's the conversational piece that really holds them back, right? You know it. Some people do not want to have conversations. And in order for you to be a brand, in order for you to get the bag, you have to have that conversation. You have to be a person that can communicate, because companies want to see whether you can communicate with their external customers or internal customers. Because even if you're talking to a peer that works with you, if they're in a different department, that's an internal customer, and you got to understand how to communicate. So that's the key that what we teach there. And the key difference is, one thing that I looked at is I wanted to build a program of coaches that know what it felt like to go through this program. So after a while, I started hiring the coaches that got hired. Hiring the students that got hired. We call them guests, not students, but hiring the guests that got hired through other companies, hiring them back and say, hey, would you like to be a coach? Because we can go out and get somebody with 20 years of experience. That's cool. But they can't tell you jack crap about coming through Level Up in Tech. Right? They can't tell you nothing about what you're going to feel, how you're going to feel, what you need to make it through an intense program like this, and what skills that you're going to need to continue to work on in order to change your life. So my whole entire staff has been through the program.
That's great. That is meaningful, especially the fact that they're coming back because it was so powerful to them. Share some success stories with me real quick, just like ones that maybe you're really fond of. You don't have to mention names, or you can if they're okay with it.
Yeah, so we just posted one yesterday, man. We had a teacher. She's local here, and I'm in Richmond. She's local in Richmond. Um, came through the program, killed every goal we put in front. Uh, Introvert, so to speak, don't want to have the conversations, but built the confidence up to be able to do that and be able to be more curious with, if we put a problem in front of you, we want you to be creative and say, okay, I solved the problem, but what does it look like if I solve it with a new tool that's just came out or something that the industry is talking about right now, right? Let's add that and see what we can do with it. She was doing that. School came around, August, September, time for her to sign on as a teacher again. She refused to do. She was like, you know what? I'm not going to sign on. I'm done with that life. I'm going to get a job, and I'm going to get a high-paying one. And this week she landed a job almost paying $100K, first tech role ever, man. And that's a great feeling when you have somebody that no technical background able to come in and get a high-paying role like that double her salary immediately. That's a life changer for everyone in her family.
That's incredible. That really is. And one of the things I noticed, because we connected. Excuse me, words. We connected, some months ago, and one of the things I noticed is that you always put some sort of praise out there for somebody who's graduated, and I thought it was incredible because the engagement on it was insane. I was like, man, like you got like people reposting these things and liking them and commenting, and it's like great. So I think it's great that not only are you kind of, kind of setting them up, but you're also, kind of, I guess, going the extra mile than a lot of these other programs out there because, like it's not like the teacher at the local university is congratulating all of her students or their students every time that they graduate, right? And so I think that's an extra layer of just awesomeness that you're doing there at Level Up.
Yeah, I appreciate it, man. I mean, because this is not easy, I know for a fact doing it on my own when I didn't have help and really, I had to lean on just other people in the industry. So when people graduate and they get a role, the first thing they do is thank us. And I'm like, don't thank us. You did the work. Thank yourself. Give yourself a huge pat on the back because the work is here. The tech can be learned. The vision and everything that you have, that's what you have to really work on to keep coming every day to tackle that because we got a proven strategy for success. It's all about if you want to do the work to get there. Our strategy is not the only strategy, but it's proven, right? Mm-hmm. And you see the results all the time. So how bad do you want it, right? Do you want it as bad as you say you do? Let's get to work, come every day. It's just like going to the gym. In order to lose weight, you got to eat right and you got to exercise, right? So let's get that mentality and let's go to work. Yeah.
Last piece of advice as we bring it home for any non-technical worker that potentially would aspire to, having a job that gives them the freedom that they want, the compensation that they want, the benefits that they want, right? Like a high-paying tech job. Like, what would you say is the first step? What would you say to that person that's sitting across from you?
The first step is not actually a technical step, right? The first step is actually believing that you can get it because, and keeping it quiet. Keep your goals to yourself for the most part because this industry, on the other half, is full of naysayers, right? You're going to have somebody that couldn't do this, right? As far as if you say, I want to get my first tech role, I want my tech role to be 90K, 95K. Somebody who isn't making that money and been in tech for years is going to tell you that there's absolutely no way you can do that. Look at me. I've been in tech 5-6 years and I'll be doing this role and I don't even make close to that. So it's no way that you could come in this industry and make that type of money. Don't listen to the naysayers. If you want a high paying role in tech, you just got to believe you can. And then look at what you want to look at, what jobs are there that are paying that type of money, and look at job descriptions and see, could I be interested in that? And go out and learn, or get into a program that can help you, or go on a platform that can help you. Even if you don't like it, if you find out, you know what, this is not for me, you can always pivot. Those tech skills don't go to waste. So you can always pivot to something else that you may like and continue your journey. But just believe you can do it and always keep that in your heart, and I guarantee you'll find that success.
Yeah, I think that's a great first step. And I'm glad you said it wasn't a technical step. It was really just having the faith and belief that you're capable of more and that you're potentially capable of a lot more than even your self-limiting doubts,
Right.
and mindset it sometimes can prevent. And to all those people that are in tech and haven't achieved your dreams, look, you know, what do they say? The open mouth gets fed, right? A lot of times those skills that you were teaching people, and whether it's the interviewing or creating the social networks, that is what the difference is. It's not always your technical skills. And so you have to develop those alongside of your beliefs and your technical skills to get the job that you want. And so I love that you're well-rounded in the way that you're educating people. And it's probably from your own battle scars, right, of learning how to do things. Yeah.
Yeah, for sure, man. I mean, it's just, the industry is tough. Don't get me wrong, but anybody can learn it. Anyone can do it. And you just got to, I look at myself. If I listen to what the naysayers said and listen to what people said about me, I'll still being a banker making $42K. And for other, I mean, there's nothing wrong with that. You're making money, you're going to work, but I wanted more. And if it's a desire in you and you want more in your life, that means because the higher power gave you the tools and resources around you to be successful with it. This is not for anything. You're not having those dreams for nothing. So let's go out there and get it and work for it.
Yeah. Well, I want to thank you for coming on here, my man. This was really good. And I think you shared some juicy nuggets for those who are kind of sitting in that seat. Honestly, nuggets for anybody in tech, because now it's time to level up. You want to access that next level, right? Then reach out to my man. And then I want to say thank you to my listeners. Always, hey, hit that subscribe button so you never miss an episode in the future. I've already been asking my man to come back on here and share some more nuggets on some topics, so hopefully he honors that request. But either way, I thank you so much for being a listener and viewer here on What the Tech, and we'll see you next week. Take care.